Now, a Thunder Report from 1077 The Franchise.
Greetings, Thunder fans. Oklahoma City was back to work this morning after losing to Dallas last night, 135-131. Add center Steven Adams to the walking wounded list. He sprained his right ankle late last night in the loss to Dallas. He'll be listed as a game-time decision tomorrow night against the Memphis Grizzlies. You'll hear Scott Brooks talk a little bit more about that coming up next as we hear from the head coach and guard Anthony Morrow.
Really? Scott Amo was talking about it. It looked like, looking at the film, that you guys maybe needed to be a little more physical against Dallas, but that's, as thin as you are at certain positions, that's kind of a fine line you have to walk, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, it definitely is. Foul trouble has been, it's creeped up on us the last couple of games, but we still definitely need to play much more physical, possession by possession. We have to get better. You know, you're not supposed to lose your home game when you score 131 points. So we focused on that. Those are areas. There's a lot of areas that we need to improve on, I think. But transition defense is something that is first and foremost.
Any update?
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Any update on Steven and that sprained ankle he was last night?
Just see how he feels tomorrow. Game time decision. Didn't do much today, just had some treatments.
But it doesn't seem to be as bad as like Knicks or
don't know that. I just know, see how he feels tomorrow.
Transition defense has been such a huge key for this team. Now guys go and play a team that likes to slow it down and rub it up. So how do you get them to transition over to what you need tomorrow night?
Well, it's going to be, it changes a little bit. Memphis is a rough and tough basketball team. They want to pound the paint. They want to throw the ball inside and crash the offensive glass. We have to do a good job of keeping them out of the paint. They're bigs. We have to do a good job of keeping them to just one shot, which is problematic when you have two or three of the best offensive rebounders at their positions. But we have to be able to do that to beat this team, and we've had a lot of games against them. We know how to beat them. It seems like every game goes down to the last few minutes of the game. So we have to play better. We have to play with some physicality against this team. Otherwise, they throw you in the basket.
In essence, Steven, are a different look for them. They haven't seen this combination. How do you think that will maybe benefit you guys?
Well, good. You know, hopefully Steven feels better. But it's definitely it's a different look. We can score the basketball. That's something that we haven't had a problem with, but we had a problem with playing some defense consistently for an entire game. But against Memphis, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to contest their shooters, and you're going to have to put bodies on their bigs. But Ennis has done a good job in a lot of areas, and Steven has done the same thing. But there's areas that all of us need to do a better job, and that is on some of the things that we need done defensively.
Steven mentioned last night that he wanted to do a better job and the team a better job of communicating on defense. For young bigs, for new bigs, is the communication aspect of calling out, coverages and screens, is that one of the hardest things to pick up early on?
Well, you get experience game by game, year by year. There's no question that is something he has lacked experience, but he's made up with it with his toughness and his effort. But those are the things that we have to be patient with him, and we're going to continue to build his habits on the floor, in the film room, to get him better. And we know that he's a young player in this league, as well as some of our other guys. But we still have to challenge ourselves and demand from ourselves to be better every game, and that's something that I need to do a better job, and our team as a group need to do a better job.
Why in general is the communication, the calling out of coverages difficult, particularly early on?
Because the game moves by pretty fast. It's a different game than what every player is used to before they get to the NBA. There's multiple actions. There's pick and roll players. There's 5 guys on the court that can score in different ways, and you have to be able to understand that, and you have to be able to get into your coverage, and that takes time. It just doesn't happen overnight, but it's taken time with a lot of our guys. we had a core group of guys that have done that for year after year after year, training camp after training camp. You know, they're hurt right now, but the same process that they went through, our younger guys have to go through that.
Wasn't physical from early on. Just everybody looking themselves in the mirror. You know, just really got to lock in on being a lot more alert, just a lot more physical to start the game. You know, a good offensive team like that, you let them run around freely. In the beginning of the game, they get a lot of confidence, and they have some guys scoring, and they usually don't score like that. So they took advantage of us not being physical. I think that's the main thing.
Anthony, you guys got a lot of offensive-minded players who are now being asked to play defense with so many defensive-minded players. How difficult is that?
I wouldn't say it's difficult. I think it's just we got to lock in the way we do in practice. You know, we did a good job in Phoenix with the same guys. And I just think it's one of those things where you got to lock in for 48 minutes. You know, we can't have any lulls or times where we're not thinking about what we need to do on the defensive end. And I think we had too many of those situations.
When you say you're not, what's the biggest challenge when you are an offensive-minded player being asked to play more defense like you are?
It's not really a challenge. You know, I mean, I've been here doing it, so I think it's just one of those things where I think as a team and individually, obviously, I don't want to make any mistakes. I get more mad at myself when I mess up defensively than offensively. So I think it's one of those. It's been a shift in my mentality since I signed here early on, and it's something I want to continue to challenge myself and work on.
Anthony, is it human nature when you're playing an offensive-minded team like Dallas to maybe get caught up in an offensive game, and maybe that's the reason why?
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of team it is where they're a high-scoring team. So when they score, we want to make sure we come down and score, obviously. But I think we just got away from what we usually do defensively. Like I said, it started from not being physical from the beginning of the game, and you can't give people, that. You can't give scorers confidence, basically. You let them run around freely, and they can just take any shot they want. At the end of the game, it comes down to making shots. They've been making them all game. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, how much of that is?
Can you elaborate on the shift in your mentality when you came here? What was it before? What is it now?
I think the standard here defensively is so high. Obviously, having a guy like Serge and Dre and those guys and Nick out there, those guys make it a lot easier. They help my transition a lot from early on. So I think that's really helped me and given me even more confidence defensively. So I think one of those things is where I watch a lot of film. I watch Dre when he starts the game, and that's helped me out a lot. Like I said, I try to help him out as much as I can offensively. But that's just it, though. That's been the main shift, just challenging myself more.
You talk about dictating the game early on with this Memphis team. Then how important is it going to be for you guys to come out in that first quarter and dictate what type of game it's going to be?
Well, obviously we know what we're up against. Definitely, they're one of the more physical teams that are in the NBA. So we got to come out and establish ourselves early, especially on the road. But once again, we got to embrace the challenge. Can't look at it, in a bad way. It's a challenge, and I'm looking forward to it. I think we're all looking forward to it, bouncing back against a really good team. So no better way to bounce back from that kind of game. Challenge yourself with one of the more physical teams in the league.
There was a three you made last night. I think Ennis had the assist where I don't even know how you had time to see the rim. When you're fooling like that and you're in the zone, I mean, it seems like it's taking you a split second to even get that shot.
I mean, like I said, I exaggerate it when I work out. I exaggerate shooting really quick shots, and I push myself and challenge myself, and it's just a mental thing. Where you can't get mad if you miss one or two or three. You just got to keep shooting it. You got to have confidence in it, and that's how I've been my whole life. So it's something I just want to continue to work on and challenge myself, knowing that guys are going to close out. Tomorrow Tony Allen's going to be one of those guys, good closeout guys. So just got to put it to test and keep working.
All right, that's the latest update here at the Integris Development Center. The Thunder will board the charter jet today and travel to Memphis for tomorrow night's 7 o'clock game at the FedEx Forum. We get our coverage started with Countdown to Tip-Off, powered by Homeland and Bank 7 at 6 o'clock tomorrow night from the Franchise Studios. We hope you'll join us. Thanks for watching this edition of the Franchise Thunder Report. I'm David Garrett for 1077 The Franchise.